Let me ask you a local, if I may, a local question. Our local governments have just been passing their budgets. Broward County still hasn't passed a budget because, and there's just been, this huge debate and a lot of hand wringing over. This is now probably the 4th year of cutting back services and also infrastructure, government infrastructure, and trying to decide whether to raise taxes and that sort of thing. What hope can you give, to the local governments?
Well, I think that's a better question. I'll answer the question, but that's a really good question for a state legislator.
Yeah.
Because what Tallahassee has done to this, what the Republicans in Tallahassee have done to this state is absolutely unconscionable and irresponsible. They have handed, they have handed the worst situation to all of these local governments and just left them holding the bag, because politicians in Tallahassee won't make the hard decisions.
Yeah.
As a result, they're leaving county commissioners who have to deal with fire services and police and the problem with that Lamberti is facing in dealing with the jail, and what does he do about cost of living adjustments for jail deputies. Those problems could be much less challenging if the Republican legislature were willing to actually make some tough decisions. But they're not.
Such as what?
Well, such as trying to balance revenue and spending cuts, instead of just saying, you know what, whenever we're in a financial difficulty, we're just going to continue to cut spending and cut taxes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only answer. And on top of that, they spend an extraordinary amount of time kowtowing to special interests. To make matters worse, you overlay the corruption scandal that the Republican Party has been fully enmeshed in. I mean, after 16 years of Republican dominance in this state, I mean, what do we have to show for it? We're in ever increasing fiscal crisis. You have a public education system that's been spiraling downward. You have social and human services. Children who are among the worst shape in the country. If you look at the Kids Count data book and the quality of life of children, we have almost the worst record in the nation. And at the same time, Republicans in Tallahassee have been spending hundreds of thousands of dollars of donors' money that they were entrusted with on personal expenses, accepting bribes. It's shocking that they are still being given the keys to the car.
But the local corruption doesn't.
Oh, I think the local corruption is incredibly disturbing. Corruption in general is, at least here, is, I think, part of what has shaken voters' confidence in government in general, and it's incredibly sad. I don't know. I just can't even grasp how a public official entrusted with the public's money, who had the public trust and asked for the public trust, could do what some of these people who are accused of have done, who thought about themselves, thought about their own pockets first. It really, I mean, it hurts badly. I mean, as someone who made a decision to make public service a career choice, who thinks public service is a noble profession, who, when I first ran 18 years ago and walked door to door, knocked on 25,000 doors, the 3 things I talked about as far as why I was running was that I wanted to fight to expand access to health care, to quality, affordable health care for everyone. I wanted to improve the quality of public education, and I wanted to make government more responsive to people's needs. And that's what I told people when I was on their doorstep, and it's what I continue to tell people when I'm on their doorstep. Because I really felt then, and now it's unfortunately worse, given all the scandal that we've been through every time we turn around in this community, that I really wanted to make sure that people knew that they could believe in and trust me, that if there was no one else that they could have faith in, they at least could know that they could look at me, and they may not always agree with me. I mean, I certainly don't get 100% of the vote, and I have my share of critics, as any public official worth their salt would. But I take the most pride when people come up to me and tell me, actually, let me share this really neat story with you. I was in a restaurant in Davie the other day with my family and friends of ours, and I went back to the restroom with my 7-year-old, and a guy stopped me, who I guess happens to belong to my synagogue. Mm-hmm. So he made a comment about having seen me in synagogue, and then when I came back out, he stopped me again and said, I'm a pretty conservative guy, but I just want you to know that I always vote for you, and I think you're doing a great job, and I really, and this was in front of his wife and his daughter, and I just, he was basically telling me, I really don't agree with you that often, Debbie, but I have confidence in you, and that to me is half the battle. If you can win your constituents' confidence and earn their trust, then that's something you should just never violate, and then they're going to give you the benefit of the doubt when they don't agree with you.
I want to go back a second to 2006.
Sorry, I'll get off my soapbox.